Hello there. We're doing something a little different. It's still Final Fantasy XIV, but I'm doing the role quests for casters in Shadowbringers. Got my Doman Enclave plan, and yeah, let's get to it. Let me guess, you're standing in front of Kareg, bounty hunter non-parallel, because you've a mind to aid me in felling the dread Penosis. Do I have the right of it, or do I have the right of it? What is? If I didn't know better, I could have sworn you just suggested that you're unfamiliar with Veronesis, but that couldn't be. No sinner worth her salt could be so ignorant. Allow me to elaborate. Veronesis isn't just your run-of-the-mill stray sin eater. He's one of the nastiest the realm has seen. Born from one of the realms of one of the goddamn warrior of light. There are four of them, all told, crawled up from the bowels of the deepest hell after being buried for nigh on a century. If the tales are true, people have come to call him the Cardinal of Virtues. Before he was transformed into a sin eater, Pronaesius was none other than Archmagus Nilbert, whose baleful magics would feared the realm over. Though it's only been a few short years since he first showed up in Mareg, he's already preyed on far too many innocents with his foul sorcery, not keen on seeing their trade routes disrupted. The local merchants have placed a healthy bounty on his head. Of course, I'd like nothing more than to fell the fiend single-handed and claim the entire bounty for myself. Unfortunately, circumstances have dictated that I recruit a companion. That's where you come in. Provided that you can prove to me you possess the rather specialized set of skills that I require. I promise I'll make it worth your while. Not a bad offer, wouldn't you say? If you fancy yourself up to the task, come find me in Armor Egg. I mean to set off there shortly. So you came. It's good to see someone who isn't all talk. As fortune would have it, another Sin Eater, a far less imposing specimen than Baroness, of course, has been sighted just west of here. Prove to me you have the skill to back up your words and we'll talk further. Good show, friend. I wasn't sure what to expect from you, but seeing you in battle has left me with little doubt. Seems I found myself a formidable ally, and so I'll extend the offer in earnest. Help me hunt down Baroness, and we'll split the bounty down the middle. Well, what do you say? That's the spirit. Now, there's more you should know before we proceed. Come with me to Mortso, my base of operations, and I'll fill you in on the details. Welcome to Mortso, friend. As you can see, it's a bustling trade post frequented by merchants across the realm. At least it was before Verona showed up and started preying on unwitting travelers, hence the bounty you see. The lucrative reward has attracted the attention of one capable bounty hunter after the next, yet the fiend still roams free. You can probably imagine why. Those few who have seen Coronis and return to tell the tales speak of the great horrors they witness. Cavernous black holes materializing out of thin air, swallowing everything around them into the abyss. People have taken to calling them the Hollows. Rumor has it that one barely has time to lay eyes on Vernosus before he summons forth the Hollows, which proceed to consume everything in sight. And I do mean everything. Just the other day, an entire cavern was devoured by the Hollows, leaving only nothingness behind. Mages have postulated that these holes are literally tears in the fabric of our reality, gateways to other worlds, to put it another way. At any rate, suffice to say that the next man to come back from the void will be the first. And yet, there's something odd about it all. Witnesses say that Ferocis doesn't seem to go out of his way to prey on people or settlements. He simply shambles across the wastes, summoning hollows one after the next, and the destruction that follows as a matter of course. Needless to say, drawing too near to the fiend is tantamount to suicide. Even attacks from afar have been all but futile, as Feronis is simply summons the hollows to consume every incoming arrow. With every conceivable means of attack foiled, even the most savvy bounty hunters have all but thrown up their hands, even though the bounty now stands at some 9 or 10-fold of the original amount. I'm of a different mind, however. The way I see it, if only there were a way to neutralize the hollows, we'd more than stand a chance against Veronis himself. This is why I require your services. Your easy triumph over the Sin Eater spoke clear. You're a mage of no common skill. If anyone has the arcane knowledge and aptitude to help me figure out a way to defend against the hollows, it's you. Don't worry, I fully intend to shoulder my share of the burden. And so I plan to gather all the information we need before asking you to put yourself in harm's way. And with that, I'd best get to work. Once I've formulated a proper plan of attack, we'll talk again. Until then, I suggest you continue to hone your casting skills. The battle that awaits us will not be an easy one. Ah, there you are, and your timing couldn't be better. As luck would have it, a little bird told me that Ferocis was sighted in the vicinity not long ago. Don't you worry, I have no intention of rushing in like a fool. My plan is to shadow the Sin Eater from afar that we might observe the hollows with our own eyes and formulate a suitable plan of attack. To that end, I procured the mannequin here for a merchant acquaintance of mine at the Crystarium. By setting it on Veronis's trail, I mean to gauge just how much wide of a berth we must keep from the fiends so as not to be sucked up into the void. Shed no tears for the little fellow, friend. His sacrifice will be the key to our success. And yet, as you can see, he's not quite in the best state of repair. Pray lend me a hand in preparing what we need to get him back on his feet. You're a lifesaver, friend. I just spotted a nasty-looking, sad-skinned Sylvie lurking about to the east of here. And I do believe one of their tendons should serve well to put some spring back into the little fellow's step. Snag one for me, and I'll see to the repairs. side quests. And they're all level 70. Level up, Sage. Anyway. Now what I'm doing right now. It was Elden Ring. Any luck finding that tendon? For my part, I've acquired something that should serve as a makeshift gear. Cost me an arm and a leg, but hey, if it helps us claim the bounty in the end, it'll be more than worth it. Perfect. Yes, I reckon this is durable and elastic enough to replace the mannequin's snap-driven belt. I'll fetch my toolbox and get started straight away. In the meantime, why don't you scout us a suitable lookout point? Baroness was last sighted just southeast of town. Try to find us a spot on higher ground, out of sight of the main thoroughfare. I'm still working on it, Kate. But mark my words. Okay. Okay. Hey, it looks really good now. That looks really good now, too. Looks different. Or maybe that's because of the quest I did, where it would look different. Hey. Oh there, friend. As you can see, our clockwork friend is back in tip-top shape, and since it appears he found us the perfect lookout spot, why don't we get down to work? I'll kindle us a fire. We might be here for a while. Well, I'll be. There's that bastard. Look closely now and hold your gaze. You must witness the sheer horror with your own eyes. No, we mustn't send out the mannequin too soon. If Renosa sees it, he may very well blast it to bits before it has a chance to investigate the hollows. And there he goes. I'll send the mannequin in to trail him. Let's sit back and enjoy the show. Just as I expected, gone without a trace. Shed no tears for our little friend. Thus, through his sacrifice, we now know just how much distance we must keep from the hollows to avoid being sucked into the void. Now it's our turn. Let's edge a bit closer and see what we can observe. Mind you, take care not to wander too close. Lest you fancy a vacation to a dark, shadowy abyss. It's as if the shadowy whirlwind rages inside, ready to suck anything and everything into the void. I've seen so many a horrific sight in my day, but this sends a shiver up the spine. Let me out. It's so dark in here. Why the pale face, friend? You look as if you've seen a ghost. A voice, you say, from inside the hollow. That's impossible. Is anyone out there? Please help me. Help me get out of here. What is that voice? Is someone out there? If you can hear me, please, you must help me. I can't see anything. No road, no trees, not even an aether current to follow. Which way do I go? How do I get out of this place? This voice, what in the gods' names is it saying? The voice of a boy, you say, claims he's lost inside with no aether current to follow. Sounds like he's adrift to flow. I don't like what would happen if an aetherite to which one was teleporting was destroyed in mid-journey. Wait a minute. What if there was a way you could channel your ether into the void? Might that not allow your etheric form to serve as a beacon of sorts to guide the child back to us? Of course, not that I know how we go about that. You reckon you could do just that? I won't even think of asking how. Do your damnedest. Wicked White, I knew you were no ordinary sinner, but even still you find ways to surprise me. Where? Where am I? Well, I'll be damned. There was a child inside. Our little expedition has left us with more questions than answers, eh? But for now, this boy needs our care. Let us carry him back to Morgue Silk and find him a warm bed and some nourishment. The boy is resting now. He is weak but not wounded, lest as far as I can tell. Needless to say, his presence raises questions. Are there others trapped on the other side of the hollows? If so, might they also be returned to our world alive? There is much we must ask him when he awakes. On another subject, this might be an odd question, but have you ever looked after a child before? What do you think? Huh, that makes two of us. Bounty hunters like me don't get much opportunity for babysitting. Still, until we can track down the boy's parents, I suppose I have a little choice but to look after him myself. I suppose the first order of the day should be to get some food in his belly. He does look terribly pale after all. Methinks I'll go hunting for some meat. No, perhaps I should take him to the physician first. After all, he may be suffering from some ailment incurable to the eye. Or maybe I should. Damn it all, I knew I wasn't cut out for this. Ah, there you are. You'll be happy to know the boy is awake, and seems to be no worse for the wear, physically speaking at least. There's just one rub, you see. He has no recollection of where he came from or just how he managed to get swallowed up into the void. In fact, other than his own name, Tanner, he can't remember much of anything at all. He seems a good lad, mind you. Eats my half-assed cooking with a smile and nary a word of complaint. Yet I reckon he's hurting inside, and badly. You must reunite him with his parents with all due speed. I suggest that he go for a stroll around Port Soap, in the hopes that the sights might help jog his memories. He can't have wandered far. Why don't you go check up on him? I realize this is something of a detour, but we simply can't leave a poor amnesiac orphan to fend for himself, now can we? Let's find the boy a safe home as soon as we can. Do not tell me. You are the ones who rescued me from the flow, yes? I feel from you the same warmth that reached out to me when I was adrift in the ether. Well, I'll be damned. The boy's a sharp one. And that's not the least of it. The carer who examined him said he could feel great power welling up from within him. Despite his young age, Tainer here seems to possess a remarkable command of the magical arts. Perhaps I do, and yet I cannot say. Try as I might, I can recall nothing of who I am or where I came from, only the darkness. No need for apologies, boy. You did well just to make it back to us. Speaking of which, can you remember anything at all of what you felt when you were adrift in the void? That I remember, or at least I think I do. I recall a vague sensation of someone passing alongside me. Indeed, I believe this is what roused me from my slumber. Hmm. If the hollows truly are a gate between worlds, then that would mean that someone recently traveled from ours to another, or from another to ours. But that's not possible. Or is it? You'd be surprised. You know something I don't, friend? Worry not. I won't pry for details. Ah, well, no sense racking our brains over matters beyond our comprehension. Let's concentrate on what we can do, namely, finding the boy here a home. No doubt his memories will come back to him in due time. You truly do that for me, but the two of you have already saved my life. I couldn't possibly burden you any further. It's no burden at all. Besides, if we can figure out just who you are and where you came from, it just might lead us to the answers we seek. Now, let's consider the options. One possibility is that you're an orphan, all alone in this world, with not a soul to care or look after you. And yet, this seems unlikely. Yes, the mystical powers you possess say otherwise. If you are truly as skilled in magic as they say, then it stands to reason that someone trained you in the art. Who this master of yours is, and whether you are of their blood or simply received their tutelage, this I cannot say. But either way, I'm certain they're worried sick about you. If that is truly so, I would very much like to meet this person too. That settles it then. Let's get down to business. I took the liberty of inquiring around Morksoak and the Custarium. Unfortunately, there have been no reports of missing persons matching Tainer's description, which means that we have no choice but to take our search elsewhere. I know of a merchant in town whose travels often take him far afield. Let us have a talk with him and see if he's heard of any helpful rumors. You think this would be a 2-die thing, but no. There we go. Now it matches. Oh. The two of you are far too kind. I cannot thank you enough. Impressive how Tanner's managed to keep himself together, eh? The boy's mature beyond his years, no doubt. Rumors of a missing boy, you say? Funny you ask. It's a long shot, I reckon, but I overheard something the other day that might be of use. On my way to Morksoak, I stopped over at the Journey's Head there. I met an ailing mage. As the carers told it, he'd been ambushed by a sin eater and was separated from his child in the battle. Bloody hells, could it be? If the sin eater that attacked the poor man was Peronus, that would explain everything. This man you speak of, he could be my father. We must go to him at once. Agreed. I only hope this the man is. No, there is no point in presuming the worst. Let us make for the end and see who what the carers there can tell us. The man was in rough shape, I fear. For the child's sake, I hope he's doing better than when I last saw him. Hello there. I hear there's a mage in your care who's lost his boy. Well, I do believe we have him right here. I fear there must be some mistake. The boy in question has already been found. This is him right here. What? So it wasn't my father after all? This boy with you, he too has been separated from his family? Just so. We heard that a man here was looking for his son, and we just hoped. Alas, it seemed it wasn't meant to be. But there are many people here, yes. Might I ask around and see if any of the others are my family? But of course, yet many of the people here are quite ill, and in many cases in considerable place. It is not a place for a young child to walk around unattended. Indeed, it's not. Guess that means either myself or Yo here should accompany him. I'll go with him. The walk might help me or take my mind off things. Not a bad idea. The lad doesn't mind. I reckon Tainer would rather be with someone of his own age. Take his mind off things? Speaking of which, how is the boy's father holding up? I fear the poor man has already departed on his journey. He is a man no longer. The child insisted upon staying by his father's side until the last. I permitted this out of respect for him, though part of me regrets the choice. None so young should suffer such horrors. It was some small solace to learn that he was has living relatives who reside at the Castellarium. In fact, I was just making preparations to escort him there myself. I see. I reckon we should also find someone to look after Tainer as well. Don't get me wrong, friend. I haven't given up on the prospect of finding the boy's family, but we have no other leads, and a deadly sin eater is still on the loose. If the lad tags along with us every step of the way, he is far more likely to end up dead or worse than to ever reunite with its family. Here's what I propose. We find someone to watch after Tainer for the time being, get back on the hunt, and gather whatever clues we can about his origins along the way. It's implied that he will be safe. Is there not more we can do? I too wish there was more we could do for the lad, but think of it this way. If we don't do something about the damned Sin Eater, who knows how many poor children will end up like Tainer. Look, I don't like this any more than you do, but it's the best we can do for the boy given our circumstances. At any rate, let's find him and share the news. Don't worry, it's my decision and I intend to take responsibility for it. Forgive me, my friends. I wish there was more we could do for the child, but our resources are already stretched terribly thin. I wish you luck in finding his family. Oh, he's right there. I'm sorry, it's all my fault. Bad news, friend. It seems the two young ones got into a quarrel of sorts and Tanner's up and run away. Seems the lad mentioned how he'd come out of one of the hollows. The other boy put two and two together and figured he'd been attacked by a sin eater. Then I said my dad was attacked by a sin eater and then he turned into one himself. So I asked, what if you turned into a sin eater too? Tanner's face went all white. He kept saying, "What do you mean? What do you mean?" over and over again. I couldn't take it anymore. Before I knew it, I was shouting at him, "Shut up, just shut up. I bet you're turning into a sin eater already." Why? Why did I say such a mean and nasty thing? Don't be so hard on yourself, lad. Both of you have had it rough of it these past few days. Nobody could blame either one of you for feeling a bit on edge. But we must hurry and find Tanner before he comes to harm. Let's split up. I'll search for the west and you take the east. And be careful out there. You'll bring Tanner back, won't you? I just want to tell him I'm sorry. Oh. Oh, it's just grapes. Okay. Yeah, it's no longer just straight white. That's cool. Oh shit, what's my AoE? Whatever, I got it. Love that hammer. Yeah, I definitely don't know how to play optimally yet, but I will. Okay, so that's what I use. Well, I have the stacks though, but yeah. When I heard the clamor of battle, I feared the worst, but I see that you have everything under control. Are you okay, lad? Forgive me, I don't deserve this kindness. I was just so scared. I was worried about what would become of me if I never recovered my memories. And then I started thinking, what if I ended up like that boy's father? What if it's already happening to me? That's one matter you needn't worry yourself with. The carer who examined you told me as much. You suffered no direct wounds. You're in no more danger of turning into a sin eater than Yo or me. Is that so? That's good to hear, but I must apologize to that boy. I should have known better than to badger him about such things, especially after what happened to his father. Funny thing that he was saying the same thing about you. You both have good hearts, lad, and you've been through more than any man should. There's no need to be ashamed about your feelings. There is still so much I do not understand about this world. Why does no one here know of me? Am I doomed to be alone for the rest of my days? Why? Why must it be this way? If only I could remember something, anything. I'm sick of not knowing who I am. I'm sick of being alone. Now it's your turn, Tainir. And do not be disheartened by your last attempt. Even the greatest of mages have known failure. Your command of magic is equal of my own. If I can succeed, there is no reason why you cannot. Free your mind of worry and focus. Thank you, Nelbert. I shall try my best. Nelbert. Uh, isn't that the mage that became... Oh, never mind. Wicked White, are you alright, yo? I remember now. I was standing here on these blighted plains. My head hung low in shame. Then Neilbert turned to me with a smile and heartening words. Neilbert, why does that name sound so familiar? I reckon we have much to discuss, but not in this godforsaken place. Let's head back to the inn and see if we can't get to the bottom of this. We have much to discuss, but first we should let the two boys make their peace. I do hope he'll forgive me. Tanner, are you alright? I'm so sorry. I shouldn't have said those nasty things. Forgive me for acting as I did. I'm fine. In fact, I seem to have recovered some of my memories. Really? That's wonderful. Maybe you won't feel so scared and alone anymore. I'm leaving to go to live in the Crystarium with my relatives. Promise me you'll come visit? I mean, after you get your memories back and all, of course. It's a promise. Until next time, my friend. I knew that you would work things out. Now let us return to work, so we have more than our share of questions that need answering. I cannot help but feel I also made a promise to that boy in my memories. Nailbert, was it? As I saw it, first you fainted all of a sudden. When you came to, a portion of Tanner's memories had returned. What in the world happened out there? The power to look into the past, eh? And you're certain that was what Yo described matches up with your recollection of the past? I don't know how to break this to you, lad, but your friend Neilbert that was with you that day, he's no ordinary boy. He's none other than the very man who became Fernosis, one of those goddamn warriors of light. If he was just a young child in your memories, that means that what you saw took place over 100 years ago. What that would that it were just a coincidence, another boy with the same name, but no, judging from the formidable command of magic, we can only assume it was him. On the way back, I managed to recall some more about Newbert and myself. We were taken in by a group of mages, a consortium of sorts. They were searching for a means to open a hole to another world, and were recruiting young children with high magical aptitude for the task. Neilbert and myself were the two they chose. You can't be serious, and yet that would explain the Sin Eater's ability to summon those damned hollows. And if you possess the same knowledge and training as Neilbert did, it could also explain why you were able to survive in there all that time. But what I don't understand is, why haven't you aged at all? I cannot say for sure, and yet my memories, they are slowly coming back to me. In time, I may be able to help you find a way to close the hollows. You'd be a lifesaver if you could, but don't overburden yourself. You're still recovering after all. In the meantime, don't worry. Yo and I will see that you're safe. I thought Tanner was just a victim of the Sin Eater, to think he was actually friends with the man himself, back when he was still a man. This can't be a simple coincidence. Yes, I'm convinced of it now. The child holds the key to defeating Pharaonis. We must keep him safe and not let him out of our sights. Besides, look at how hard he's trying to recover his memories. I'm not so heartless as to kick the poor lad aside before he's figured matters out. But we can't very well rush things. You and I will continue to prepare for the battle ahead, while waiting for the rest of Tainer's memories to come back to him. That is to say, if it's alright with you, lad. I'm sorry, I couldn't possibly burden you any further. Look, lad, I've only known you a short while, but I can tell you put a good heart and a good head on your shoulders. I can only begin to imagine the horrors you've been through, not to mention the fears and uncertainty you face even now. But I want you to promise me this: no more apologies. You're no burden to us, not in the least. You're a valuable member of our band, and as you're willing, I want you with us. And as long as you're willing, I want you with us. Isn't that right, yo? I I see. Thank you, Carrick. Thank you, yo. I will aid in your quest in whatever way I can. Now that's more like it. We're counting on you, lad. You and Greg have shown me no end of kindness. I will do all in my power to recover my memories and return the favor in whatever way I can. Okay, so I'm about halfway done. I'm gonna take a little break, and I'll be right back. Okay, so I gotta call it here because I'm gonna be doing a recording session with Chong in a bit. Thanks for joining me. I'll finish this role quest next recording. Thanks for watching, and I hope to see you in the next one. Peace. Have a good day.